Alright guys, we're back and we're live on TikTok for the first time on the site, so not sure how many people are in there or if anyone's asking anything, but it'll be dropping on YouTube tomorrow, the podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah, keen for that. Always good to do a quick mic check, everything's on. So we've actually never recorded without the camera being on or the mic. We've actually never stuffed up yet.
Yeah.
Got to knock on wood for that one.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, we could talk about our week, but really our weekend, but we're just really shocked by the Tigers win. So maybe we'll get straight into shouting out the Tigers and all you Tigers fans. If you said you caught it or you had a thought, like I don't want to hear it because you didn't. They're paying $7. I think it's one of the most expensive odds ever, like pre-game in NRL's history.
Yeah.
How good was that, man? And how good's Buller?
Bro, they played really well to the conditions, and you can't take it away from them. I think they played the best game of the year, and I think we said they were going to have their time, and no one thought it would be against Penrith.
Literally
but
no one.
Buller was outstanding, no errors. He's a gun. No
errors, a try assist. I think he had like maybe 5 tackle breaks or something like that. Like, he's so tall. I know he was trying to break the NBL or something like that, but the guy's a freak. Like you were saying off camera, once he gains a bit of confidence, he'll be unstoppable. Probably a good super coach by this week too.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's looking good. And you know, speaking about confidence, he's about to play his 3rd NRL game, and he's versing against the Dragons, who are like under all sorts of pressure at the moment. There probably wouldn't be a better time to come against the Dragons.
Yeah, I think it'll be a big week for him. I think.
Yeah, I think he scores his first NRL try this week.
Yeah, I'll back that.
Yeah. And the rest of the week was good. I mean, your doggy's got a gutsy win.
Yeah.
Even Rooster's got a gutsy win, to be honest. Like, pissed down rain in New Zealand, and that wind was crazy. Like, it was like a monsoon. First time a team's been held to 0 this year.
Yeah, wow.
So,
good stat.
The Butcher boys, 111 tackles between them and none missed.
Wow.
Also, like, so good to see, because people say we've got no juniors. There's 2 juniors killing it.
That's it.
Yeah, that's right. All you people on TikTok as well. But, I mean, your Bulldogs, I tipped the Dragons, and I was just saying to you before, like, it gets so tough when, like, I'm there with watching footy with my girlfriend. She's a big Dragons fan. I just know her team's so shit. And I've tipped them and I've backed them, and I'm holding on, and then the Bulldogs, eh?
Yeah, I mean, gutsy win. We need a win like that, and it's good to see because as a fan, you want your team just to give it their all, and they did. I mean, Brandon Burns is showed that exactly, because pretty much had the worst injury you can have while staying on the field, and even that when he chased down Lomax and then forced Max Fagai to the wing to score, and you know, if Lomax misses the goal, and you know, we win by 2 points, which doesn't seem big in the moment, but at the end of the game, it won us the game. Yeah,
because if he doesn't chase him out to the sideline, he scores under the sticks. Lomax kicks it, you'd think.
Yep.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, which is
it's dogs of war mentality.
Happy to see.
Very, very good. All right, you ready to get into this week?
Yeah, we're going to this week.
All right, Dogs in Canberra. How do you want to do this? You want to go through our tips first, or you want to go through each game?
We'll just do our tips and probably pick the one game we want to watch this week.
All right, fair enough. I'm going with the Raiders. I just think last week was real gutsy. They should have put the Dolphins away earlier, but I thought they played better as a team. Probably, I don't want to say it's the best I've seen them this year, because obviously they beat the Broncos, but I feel like their forward pack's really clicking now. Yeah. And hopefully Tarpany gets a few more minutes this week, and I just think their pack's just a bit too strong for the Dogs at the moment, especially Dogs playing off a shorter turnaround.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a really tough game for us, and one, if we do win this, it would really give us confidence. And I think for us, a massive ins, Jacob Carraz and Max King, if he does play, 2 fresh young lads ready to get a win for the Doggies. So I think we get the win. I mean, I haven't tipped against us this year, so I'm not going to change now.
There we go. Fair enough. We've got Manly up against Broncos. It's 1st versus 6th, but don't let it fool you. Broncos have been the best team.
Yeah.
You know, just about the best team. I'd put him, I know Sharks had that loss to the Warriors. I'd put Sharks and Broncos as the top 2 teams this year so far. Yeah. And I'd put like Bunnies and Penrith just underneath them. But I'm going with the Broncos, and I feel like Manly is so behind the pace. Like, I don't think, like, you look at Manly, you see they're in 6th position, you're like, okay, and then you look at the odds on certain betting companies, and they're all paying above like 350 for a reason. I don't see it. I think even if Tommy does play, I don't see Manly doing well this week. Broncos at home, Magic Round, that massive pumping last year was like 38-0.
Yeah.
I'm ready to see Cobos cross the line a couple more times more this year. What do you think?
I don't think, even if Tommy does play, which I don't think he will, Even if he does, I think it's going to be a hard win up there.
Yeah, it'll be difficult. Hostile environment too at Suncorp.
Yeah.
Warriors and Penrith. Warriors have been gone. It's 8th versus 7th.
They haven't lost back-to-back yet.
They haven't. But Penrith just lost back-to-back. Do Penrith lose 3 games in a row? When was the last time it happened?
We can't say we can't rule it out after last week.
We can't rule it out, but surely they're
probably about 4 years ago. Most likely.
I'm going Penrith. I don't see them losing 3 games in a row. They could be versing any team this week, and I'd pick them, to be honest.
Yeah. Facts. I'll go Penrith too. Sharkies and Dolphins. I think
it's hard to tip Dolphins games. Everyone knows it. But Sharks in second place. If the weather's good, dry track.
Even this wet track, Nico's playing good no matter what.
Nico's
rain, hail, shine.
Nico's Nico, man. What are you going to do? He's going to win back-to-back Dally M medals. So I'm going Sharks here.
Yeah, Sharkies.
I don't think it'll be a big margin, to be honest, but I still think Sharks win.
Facts.
Storm and Rabbitohs. In my opinion, this is the game of the round. Storm versus Penrith last year, Magic Round. I was there for it. Everyone thought it was going to be a great game, but Storm had too many injured players that Penrith just put him away. But they're usually good at big games with big crowds, so I'm keen to see the Storm go back there and actually do a job of them. And they beat Rabbitohs early this year when Rabbits were like the favourites. Everyone's tipping Rabbits. Storm had a few players out at the start of the year. They're versing them again. I think Bellamy knows how to beat the Rabbitohs, to be honest.
Really tough game. I mean, this is a really good game to watch, man. You have to watch this game.
Souths are the favourites.
I don't know. I would go Rabbitohs. just Latrell and Campbell Graham killing it. Murray in the middle. Cody Walker's playing good footy. I just feel Melbourne been hot and cold. I mean, they haven't had their full team all year.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Pappenhausen's out.
I know they get Big Nelson back.
Yeah, Nelson's back, but it's just the we saw Burgess last week absolutely kill it. Like, he played probably the best game he's ever played in his career.
Yeah, well, Katoa was good for Melbourne until they got the head clash as well. Like, seeing them two back and...
Yeah, it'll be a good game. We could see Golden Point here.
Liam Knight's back in, first game. It's always risky when the forward comes back for first game. Like, you don't know if they're going to hit the ground running again.
Yeah.
But I don't know, you're right. Souths do look good.
Should chuck Charger in that. And chuck Charger in the cam.
In the camera?
Keep talking.
Yeah.
Next game.
Right, next game. Tigers and Dragons. So Josh wants to miss this one because you probably won't end up watching it. Although Buller's playing and we're big Buller fans right now. So we've gone with the Tigers. It's tough to tip this game. Like, to be honest with you, Dragons are probably going to be the favourites going in, but after Tigers getting that win last week, surely they can't disappoint their fans. Like, you can't beat Penrith and then lose to the Dragons. They've got no Zach Lomax and no Jacob Little just because they've been dropped. I don't know why Little got dropped, because I think he's been one of their better players this year. And I feel like the forward pack is going to just continue to turn it on for the Tigers, and I think they'll just, outstrength the Dragons like the Dogs did. Moving on to Roosters versus Cowboys. This will be a great game because there'll be a lot of Cowboys fans there and they will go home disappointed. So Sydney Roosters on top, baby. I've gone with my boys, as I so often do. Adrian's also, he couldn't be with us tonight, but he's also tipped the Roosters, which is a good thing. Drew Hutchison in the centres, probably not the best idea. I'm not a big fan of it. I really don't like it, but it is what it is. If he holds Val Holmes down and we get the win, I'm happy. But I think we need to get Billy Smith there as soon as possible. Cowboys, they get Lukey back, but they lose out on Nanai. He's going to miss a couple of weeks. I just don't think Cowboys are strong enough. They haven't shown much this year. Like, they're second last on the ladder for a reason. You know what? I do wonder how many people are on this live and if they're commenting anything, because we really can't see from here. But stay tuned because it's going to come out on YouTube. Josh, have you gone with the Cowboys or the Roosters? I know you're fiddling with the camera.
I'm going with Cowboys or Roosters? I'm leaning towards the Cowboys here, mate.
This bloke is just something else. Leans against the team running second last.
It's really hard to go against the Cowboys. I don't know. It's hard.
Gee whiz. We just move on. Titans and Eels. BKR's waiting for this one. So are all the Para fans that support our page. Whoa. I'm going Parramatta. Titans had a great win against Manly. Look, if Titans can win this game, I might have to tip Titans every week going forward if they can win this game, because for me, they're just hot and cold. I mean, that's why they're 10th. Parramatta, 12th, not so much better, but they had a tough few weeks to start the year. They had the toughest 4 weeks, I'd say, to start the year. the way they tore the Knights to shreds last week, I can see this being an absolute slugfest and just a point-scoring epic. And I think the Eels will get away with it. I feel like the impact of off the bench will be better than what the Gold Coast can produce.
Yeah. Well, whenever we talk about power gaming, if whenever I tip Para, they lose. So I'm going to tip Para. And
just because you want them to lose?
Just because I want them to lose.
Oh, fair enough. So it looks like we're all tipping Para. Now, Newcastle Knights get the bye, which I was going to say that sucks, but it doesn't really because they have not been fun to watch.
They did well here, no?
That's yeah. Well, we got the questions that we get. Questions for the podcast. We put it up on our Instagram story on a Tuesday morning. Questions for the podcast. Type in your questions, and we'll answer as many of them as we can.
Yes, sir.
I will go through the questions now, Josh. I'll go through these. I'll pick 3 for you, and then you pick 3 for me.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Alrighty.
First question's by Noah Bazzano 36. Shout out to Noah. Do you think Lomax deserved to get dropped from the Dragons?
This is a tough one. I feel like it's a blame game now. That's all they can do. And you're losing games. When you blame the coaching staff, then you go to the players. They've done that. They've blamed the coach. He's still there, and now they'll go blame probably their best players. And they deserve it, probably. But I wouldn't say one player can determine a team's form for the season.
I can't point the finger on just Lomax.
Yeah, you can't.
Okay, next question. Thoughts on Nick Meaney? This is actually a good one for you, considering he used to play for the Dogs.
I've always liked him. I've always liked him as a footballer, but as he's gone to Melbourne, his skill and game awareness has just improved. And I think he could be, if once Pappenhausen comes back, his fullback, I think another club's going to try and pick him up, like Nico Hines got picked up by the Sharks.
Yeah, so that was from Jackson Stew. Thoughts on Nick Meaney? Josh has got good thoughts on him. Last question for you is from James. Shout out to James. Will Burden play 7 for the rest of the year?
I think for the rest of his career, he'll play 7.
Wow.
I think he'll be changed to a number 7, which I think he's been playing halfback for the Bulldogs already. He's just now he's got the 7 on his back. He's got the kicking game, running game. Ball. It's just in his confidence back, and I think he'll get that. And I think he'll be halfback for the rest of his career.
Sweet. All right, pick 3 from here for me, from the fans. Call out their username, and we'll go.
Let's go. Let's see. Does Ponga get picked for Queensland? From Cam Davey.
So shout out to Cam Davey, good friend of the page. I did say a couple of weeks ago Ponga is still the best fullback option for Queensland, but maybe we need to see him play games of fullback in Clubland before he gets picked, to be honest with you. So at this point, I'm gonna have to change my mind now and say no, unfortunately.
Wow, there we go. From Woody, we'll go from, I lost the question, my bad. That's
so many to choose from. Keep them coming in, guys. Every single Tuesday on our story. Oh, thanks for the roses.
I can't pick one. Well, all about Ponga.
Everyone wants to know about Ponga.
Who do you think will win the comp this year? From KX Den.
It's Caden. I could be super biased and say Roosters if we get a full team on the field. I think if we get a full team on the field, we're unstoppable. Apart from us, though, I don't see Penrith doing a 3-peat. I don't think Melbourne is strong enough. I know they'll be there, but it's between Broncos, Rabbitohs, and Sharks at this point. If I'm taking my team out of it, it's between Broncos, Rabbitohs, and Sharks. I couldn't give you a straight answer, to be honest.
And last one. Do you guys enjoy working together?
Great question.
From James.
I love it. Obviously, we're mates, and it gets stressful at times because we just want to be mates and do things that mates do and stuff.
Yeah.
But Sportshed's taken a big priority. But I love it. We get along. We know what each other's thinking, and
it's good.
Easy to communicate.
It's fun. It's fun.
It's fun, and it's even better because we just get to make fun of each other every week as well.
That's true.
So yeah, I love it. You love it, Josh?
Yeah, it's good fun.
I'm sure Adrian loves it. Even though don't be fooled that he can't be here. He does love it, and he loves us.
He's a busy man.
Just a busy man.
Alrighty. Well, I've got a game for you, Norm.
Alright.
Let's jump straight into the game. Alrighty.
How many people are on this? Can we even see from there?
I think there's like 10 or something.
Welcome.
I'll give you the whiteboard.
Okay, sweet.
You just got to write down who you would.
Should I mic myself up?
No, it's just I'll hold it for you if you want.
Alright. Well, service. See, do I love working with these boys?
Alrighty. So let's start. Start, bench, cut.
Start, bench, cut.
Kennedy, Edwards, Meaney. Who you going with, mate?
Am I writing the answers down?
Just write one down and it's a tough one. I feel like they all have their pros and cons, but they're all solid fullbacks. Who would you guys choose? Kennedy, Edwards, Meaney, start, bench, cut.
All right. Do I show the TikTok camera first? I've gone with start Edwards, bench Meaney, cut Kennedy.
Wow.
Reasons for that. Edwards is the best fullback out of the three of them, and he's probably the safest fullback in the comp, especially in defence. So I'm starting Edwards every day of the week, back-to-back champion. I'm benching Nick Meaney, even though I think Will Kennedy is a better fullback right now. I just feel like Meaney off the bench will provide more value because I think he can cover more positions across the back line than Kennedy can.
Nice. Alrighty, that's a good one. Alrighty, so start, bench, cut. Mam, Moylan, Dearden.
Mam, Moylan, Dearden.
Mam, Moylan, Dearden. Who would you guys
Is it just off this year's form?
Who would you want in your team, mate?
Sheesh, this is tough.
Can't decide. It's a tough one. Show the camera first.
I apologise for my handwriting. I'm saying it I'm putting it in the exact same way that you said it. Mam, Moylan, Dearden. I'm starting Ezra Mam. He's been exceptional this year, and I really didn't see it coming. And I think out of the three of them, he's probably the most creative player that still has top speed at the moment. So he's it's very important to have that in your six. So I'm starting Mam. Moylan, everyone knows his versatility. That's why he's on the bench, because I see that as a 14 sort of role for him. And I'm cutting Dearden, even though I love him and he's ripping and tearing every single week. I think that if he's as good as the other two, he'd bring the Cowboys up higher than what they are on the ladder at the moment. So I'm going Mam, Moylan, Dearden. So start Mam, bench Moylan, cut Dearden.
Nice. Alrighty, last one. This one's a bit more fun. Alrighty, start, bench, cut. Jacob Carraz, Jackson Paulo, and Dom Young.
So with wingers, it's hard to actually bench someone because you don't know how much value they're actually going to...
Who would be your backup winger?
I'm starting Carraz, no questions asked. Best winger out of the three of them. My backup winger would be... Start, bench, cut. Start Carraz, bench Paulo, and cut Young. And the reason I'm doing that is because Carraz, in my opinion, is the best winger out of the three of them. Just run meters, tackle breaks, offloads, all round better winger. Paulo, I think he can play centre and wing, whereas Dom Young, I haven't seen him play centre. So that's the only reason why I'd be cutting Young. If Young plays centre next year, then he'd probably jump there over Paulo. But yeah,
that's it. How good?
That's it. Yeah,
that's the game.
Hope you all like that one. I guess we'll go on to the Premier League title race, Arsenal and City, because Josh has a big City fan. I almost butchered that there. I mean, you knew you were coming. Everyone all season was like, "Oh, when's Arsenal dropping? When's Arsenal dropping?" They've dropped. You're on top now. Like you're actually on top.
Yeah,
clear.
Finally.
So, what are your thoughts? You run away with it, or?
To be honest, anything can happen. There's still a few games to go. I mean, Fulham gave it to us last game. It was 2-1. Really sketchy, nervous times. You know, we could have dropped points there and still been in second place. But Haaland obviously steps up again, and Alvarez as well, which is good to see from the young fella. But I think we're in front. I don't think we will drop.
So you're in front by 1 point with one game in hand. So if you win the next game, you're up by 4 points.
Yeah.
So it's gonna get really tough for Arsenal here. I think Newcastle have secured a top 4 position.
Which is really good. Maybe Ronaldo will come back.
Maybe.
How good?
He would look good in a Newcastle kit.
I think he would too. Bit like a Juventus.
Yeah, actually. We don't talk about Ronaldo. It's a touchy topic here. Hopefully United can hang on for 4th position, but I don't know how well that's going to go. Chelsea's had a shocking season, but Leicester avoid looking to avoid the bottom 3, but it's tough because they've got Nottingham Forest, Leeds United, and Leicester all on 30 points. So it's tough at the bottom. It'd be sad to see if Leicester do drop. It'd be sad to see Leicester, Everton, and Southampton all go because I thought they were like solid mid-table teams, but
very weird, eh?
Very weird this season. But speaking of Man City, though, they've got an interesting battle on their hands because they come up against Real Madrid. So it'll be Josh against Adrian and I in the Champions League. How confident are you, or how nervous are you? What's the better question to ask you at this point?
After watching last year, I think it was the best game I've watched last season, the whole year, and this will be again, I reckon, the best game, best to watch. And I think you just look at the midfield, you match up the midfield and the people up front, who's defending who. It's just crazy. Probably the last time we see I don't know, maybe not last time, but I reckon top quality players all around the park giving it to each other for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And seeing De Bruyne in form, you got Benzema in form. There's so many players on that pitch that that can win a game for their team.
Yeah, you're right. And then we've got the Milan derby, Inter and AC up against each other too. That'll be a thrilling encounter. But it's going to be interesting because I feel like Man City and Real Madrid, if they met in the final, would have been 10 times better.
Yeah, of course.
But you can't discredit the Italian teams because they've just absolutely killed it. I think AC go through.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think Milan go through.
AC Milan, yeah, but
the big one,
I just feel like their attacks will be better. But everyone knows the big ones, Real Madrid and City. But the thing is, you don't want them to play their final early. They've got 2 legs to worry about. You don't want anyone to get red carded, injured.
Let me ask something.
Yeah.
If Haaland wins, or say Man City get the treble, they get the FA Cup, they get the Premier League and the Champions League. Should Haaland get the Ballon d'Or?
Yes.
Simple?
I think that's very simple. I think he wins the treble. No one should take the Ballon d'Or off him.
Wow.
The goals he's scored, the amount of goals he's scored, the way he's scored every goal, the way he gets involved in every single play, he's clearly the best player in the Premier League. He's killed the Champions League, or else Benzema's still probably...
Yeah.
I got Benzema in front of him in Champions League, but, who knows what can happen over this semi-final. As a Real Madrid fan, this is the first time in years I've been nervous about going into a game. Last time against City, everyone were down. I was like, nah, the boys have got it. I was so confident. Maybe I'm just not confident because the first leg hasn't happened yet.
So
but
one key sign that City had to make.
And it was him. He is that guy. But Haaland, I hate saying it, but he is that guy. City just on top.
Yeah.
But I hate them, so I hope they lose. But I like him. You can't hate it. You can't really hate the bloke.
No, it's good to watch.
Yeah, AFL's been interesting as well. Josh, an ex-AFL athlete.
Oh, yeah.
So, your boys, Richmond Tigers, what's going on? The Gold Coast Suns used to be the meme of the AFL, right?
Yeah.
And they've beaten Geelong and the Tigers this year. And they only sit in 13th, but
showing up.
Your boys are second last, and West Coast are last.
Yeah, West Coast are having a tough ride, bro.
Richmond are third last. What is happening?
Yeah, it's tough. West Coast, they're missing half their team the whole season, so we feel for them. But for the Tigers, I think they've had a hard draw at the start of the season, and they had a few injuries, but I feel like they'll come good. But I think Collingwood, man, this year they're looking really good. Looking like a strong force.
Yeah, my mate at work told me Collingwood Carlton final.
It'll be a good one.
They're first and sixth at the moment. I want to just keep an eye on that as the season goes on. But I think St Kilda will go far this year. To be honest with you, not to say they'll win the whole thing, but I think they're looking decent. But the two Sydney teams sitting in 11th and 12th. Giants got the win over the Swans though. Sort of a last minute thing, but. It's such a tough sport. Hopefully we can get some more AFL content soon to the page and some Fan TV content there.
We're getting some football content this weekend.
Yes, we are. So that brings us into the next topic, the A-League. How good is it to see the A-League, there's more hype around it. I know it's towards the back end now. Obviously there's going to be hype, as there is with the NBA playoffs too.
Yeah.
But there's going to be 2 legs for the semi-final. That's just incredible. Yeah. I'm so pumped for that. And the teams get a week off. So... the Mariners will get the week off, and so will Melbourne City.
Yeah.
Wonder is Sydney FC in an elimination final at CommBank Stadium.
Yeah, gotta be.
Surely that's a sellout.
Oh, it has to be. I think the street's gonna be wild. I mean, I'm gonna be scared just standing there, but
yeah, I'm gonna be scared to get content after last time. Almost got bashed. Almost ended up on Channel 9 News. Shout out to Channel 9. Last time was wild.
I couldn't breathe. I think that
you couldn't breathe, and I almost got knocked out.
Yeah, you got one swung at you, bro.
Yeah. So now we know if you're behind the banner, don't film. But if we're in front of it from a distance, we can film and get content.
Which would have been good to know before.
It would have been really good to know. Although I was kind of warned by Josh, but I was like, nah, man, like, you guys deserve the content. So Josh hides his mic as it is there, and then he gives me the phone, tells me to go out of the space. What do? Being the stubborn person I am, I press record, I start recording Josh like this, and I just get punched out of nowhere. So RBB, mate, watch yourselves, or else I'll put a curse on you, and Sydney FC will win by like 3 goals plus. But we'll get good content.
Yeah.
Keen for it.
How good.
And then shout out to the Central Coast Mariners as well, getting the week off and then playing next week. So
that's it.
Keen for my Mariners to do some damage as well. Marco Tilio, first ever player to win to finish first on the ladder, I think 3 or 4 years.
Really?
3 or 4 years in a row, Sydney FC, and then now with Melbourne City.
That's good.
So that's a record, and Tilio's a gun, so that's good to see.
Weapon.
Any sort of shout outs you want to do or say anything about any sort of player? Because I got one in mind.
No, don't have much going on in my brain right now.
Yeah.
You got anyone? Or what do you got?
I just want to shout out big boy Braden Hamlin-Ueli. Like, from the Sharks, that guy's massive. So, like, Fafita's gone, and everyone's like, oh, is there going to be a bit of a gap in the front row? I know they've got Fanuka and Toby Rudolph, but they're both out injured. And then Braden steps up, and he's just like he's a freaking monster. Like, that bloke's a tank. And I thought he was having one of the best games of his career last week before that unfortunate hip drop. I don't want to say unfortunate, it was just shit. That hip drop, and then he's injured his leg, MCL, I think. But he was having an incredible season. Just shout out to Braden. I don't know if you'll see this, but it's just so good to see certain players just step up and have more than a crack and actually be so influential in the forward pack, because everyone talks about the shiny players, the 1 to 7s and the hookers here and there, but for a big forward to do his thing and just really lead that pack, like that's the type of guy that you want in your team, so that Nico can go do his thing. So yeah, shout out to Braden. I think he's been incredible this year.
You clicked my brain here. Now I was awake. So I just want to ask something. I want to ask you something. Alrighty, are we stuck in the Penrith era? Are we stuck in this like mentality? Like, if we don't have these Panthers boys in the New South Wales squad, like, we're gonna lose a series? Are we stuck in this? Because I'm saying to you,
yeah.
Can you imagine Nico Hines and Matt Burton in the halves?
Bro, my next question was, imagine Luai and Cleary don't exist. Who are your New South Wales halves?
Bro, I'm saying they do exist. And you have Nico and Matt Burton. Can you?
We got to take this back to 2018 when Freddie came in. He picked the team based off form and what he wanted. There were, how many, 7 people made the debut, or was it 11 in the squad? Something crazy. It was a ridiculous number. I'm not going to remember it off the top of my head. Don't crucify me. But it was a ton, like, it was a massive number. Like, at that point, I thought, wow, we're going places. We win 2 series in a row, and then now it's Queensland, New South Wales, Queensland, and hopefully back to us this year. But is he going to pick a team off form, or is he going to pick everyone's like combinations? What if the combinations won us?
Yeah.
2 series wins in 4 or 5 years. Like, is that worth it? I don't know.
In my opinion, if you have the best player in the competition is a halfback, and that halfback is not good enough to play for his state, it does not make sense to me. In his prime position, halfback. And
reigning player of the year, state of origin eligible.
I mean, people say I have no ball knowledge, but in my opinion, Cleary is yet to prove himself at halfback for the Blues. People can say that he has, but in my opinion, I don't think he has.
Yeah.
I don't think he's dominated himself like a Cooper Cronk, how he had. Thurston. No, these players, they left a mark in Origin.
Yeah, and the fact that Cleary's already played like, what, 4 years now?
I'm not saying that he won't dominate it, but a bit of pressure, put on him isn't a bad thing.
So, but you reckon Freddie will pick Nico for game 1? I highly doubt it. Cleary's the man.
Cleary will get picked, but I'm putting the question out there: are we stuck in the Panthers era?
Yeah, maybe we are. With the combinations thing, we are. But I'm more than happy to see Cleary take that Blues team. I'm more than happy to see Cleary at 7. The only thing is, I don't know. I want Nico in. I want Nico in the 17. I'm not saying I need him at 7.
Yeah, because all I'm saying is that I think Luai is not a better player than Matt Burton. That's what I think. In a team that that has a lot of good players in it, like who are experienced. I think Matt Burner can step up. We saw it last year in the centre. He played centre. I think at 6 he'll kill it.
Well, if we talk about connections, right, and combinations and things like that, you want your spine to be from the same club. Ideally, if you can make it possible.
Yeah.
Obviously, Teddy's the captain and is one of the better players in the team. But they never ever would ever mention, even if Teddy wasn't the captain, they'd never mention Dylan Edwards at fullback or Coruscant being the 9 and like just not worry about Cook at all.
Yeah.
So they're on this combination thing. They're using that as sort of an excuse to keep focus on Luai being in that 6 role. Like, what's to say that Nico can't play 6 and just take one side of the field?
Yeah, it's true.
But in saying that, if they're going to stick with the combinations and Nico's at 14, I'm personally not complaining.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Yeah. Anyways,
that's that.
Good chat.
We'll go through our Fanzo NRL tips. So, guys, make sure you all download the Fanzo app and you can do your tipping there. You can win a free schooner if you... you get a 2-for-1 schooner when you do your tipping, but if you go into the pub and you do your tips, you get a free schooner. So, it's awesome. Fanzo, NRL tips, round 10, Magic round. Oops, got so excited, almost knocked the board off. Raiders, we're going with the Raiders over the Dogs. Going with the Broncos over Manly Sea Eagles. We're going with Penrith Panthers up against the Warriors. The Cronulla Sharks will beat the Dolphins. Storm will beat the Rabbitohs, we think. And here we've gone with the Tigers over the Dragons. That's a tough one. Roosters to beat the Cowboys and Parramatta to beat the Gold Coast Titans. That's Magic round done and dusted.
That's it.
Enjoy. And do we tell people where we can catch us, or do we?
Yeah, let's just put it out there.
We'll put it out there, Josh.
Yeah, we're going to be at Marconi Club.
Yes, so head down to Club Marconi, and we'll be there. A few other content creators will be there. I don't want to name them because we'll put it out on the post, so stay tuned. But we're going to watch all 3 games on the Sunday. Get there, have a feed, have lunch, have dinner, have whatever you want, a few drinks, and sit with us. Meet the people that you watch their content all the time, and whether you have something positive or negative to say to them, come down and say it, and have a chat. Enjoy the footy.
That's it, bro.
So,
Sportshed out.
Sportshed out.
Let's go.